Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of TOI Dialogues. And today we have got Mr. Shailesh Chandra with us, who's the man in charge of the ship for Tata Motors in terms of passenger vehicles and electric vehicles. So, thank you so much, Mr. Chandra, for joining us for this conversation.
Nice meeting you.
Same here. And right now, the first thing we are here for a CNG media drive. Now, CNG is something that's not entirely new. You already have a couple of vehicles with the CNG technology. So, if you could just tell us, as of now, what is the kind of response you've got in terms of numbers? What is the percentage of sales that CNG is adding to your overall portfolio?
I would say, as far as Tata Motors is concerned, we are recent in this segment of passenger vehicle industry. Our journey started in Jan 2022. But maybe let me just quickly reflect on how CNG as a market is evolving.
Sure.
In the last 3-4 years, we have been seeing pretty strong growth in this segment on the back of several models, factory fitted models, which got launched. Now there are about 17-18 models in the country. There's a growing CNG station network that you're also seeing. There's a clear plan of city gas distribution also. So all these factors are really helping the CNG market grow also. Yeah, and that has been the reason for growing interest of many players in this. Right now there are 3 players who are seriously in this segment. What we had been observing is that while this segment is growing, but the cars or solution which are being offered in the market are very compromised ones. So typically the CNG market was, I would say, an after fitment market, after market fitment, that kind of a thing. But the design and idea of an afterthought CNG cylinder being fitted and compromised performance and all stayed even when it transitioned to factory fitted solution. We said that we should, as OEMs, we should take the challenge and start overcoming these challenges. So when we launched Tiago Tigor in 2022, in Jan 2022, we first focused on overcoming the performance challenge and the features, right? CNG cars used to come with lower variants which had no features. So we said the trend is clearly for feature-rich cars. So why a CNG customer should be devoid of that? So this is what we did, and both the products have been doing well in the market. And I'll come to the numbers and all.
Sure.
There was one big compromise which was still left, and that was the boot space. Full cylinder occupying the boot space is something which is unstated need or even a stated need by the customer. This is something that they need to reclaim it back, and this was the whole thought process when we conceived Altroz CNG. This is a premium hatch segment. Here customers never go for any compromise solution. So therefore we thought about a solution which is a twin cylinder technology which could give this full boot space without compromising on any aspect, cylinder capacity or a spare wheel. We would give everything. We would ensure the performance also is as good as petrol. And we give more aspirational features in this segment. It's a premium hatch, so we came with sunroof, we came with wireless charging, air purifier, and so on. So this is, I would say, in truest sense, the first vehicle which will be a no compromise CNG vehicle. So we see the CNG portfolio for Tata Motors growing with this kind of a concept. We had also showcased Punch CNG in the Auto Expo, so that would also be a product which might come. So it will become a portfolio of 4 products. Today, without Altroz and the future products, with the 2 products, we are at about 8% penetration in our portfolio. Hopefully with Altroz, this should start moving towards more 12%. Individually, the products that we have in CNG, the penetration varies from 30% to even 50%. In Tigor, it is slightly higher. In Tiago, it would be about, say, 30%. It might have become slightly lower because of now an electric variant also being there, adding volumes to Tiago. So that's the general kind of a penetration we see whenever we launch a CNG product. But I also believe that Altroz, being a very unique product among these 18 models, should gain more traction.
And going forward, do you have kind of an expectation where you want to see CNG in what kind of growth you're expecting from CNG in the coming years?
It should be always better than the industry growth, as has been the case in the past.
Right.
Last year also, if you see, industry grew by 27%, but CNG cars would have grown by 50% plus. New models are being added, portfolio is being created in CNG, and there's a growing network of CGD, right? Right now, CNG is only available in certain pockets in the country. So, over a period of time, this is going to expand across the country. So, therefore, this itself will give growth coming because of expansion pan India, right? At a certain stage. Right now, it is north, west, UP. I mean, these are the pockets where you see CNG as a market. So that will help it grow. So I always believe that CNG should be always posting industry beating growth every year.
So, beyond CNG, the other technology that you have been successful, really successful with, is electric vehicles.
Yeah.
And so, right now, first of all, if you could tell us what kind of sales you're getting from EVs and what's the plan ahead, and then I'll come to more product-specific questions.
So in EV market we have led the charge in this category. While industry would be at 2% penetration, we are now more closer to say 12-13% penetration in our portfolio. We are seeing growth in multiples every year. So last year also we grew by 2.5 times, hitting the very important milestone of 50,000 cars in a year. 4 years back, 5 years back, our journey started with 500 cars in a year. Even 2 years back, we would have done about 4,000 cars in a year. Then a year after that, it was about 19,000 and now 50,000. So ambition would be to grow at this, similar kind of growth rate. But of course, the base is higher now. So this year aspiration would be that if we can double the volume from where we ended last year. This will of course come with the current set of products that we have. Monthly run rate today is about 6,500 to 7,000. There will be an additional product which will also come in this financial year in the later part. So that should also help us grow volume. There is a secular growth that you are also seeing in adoption of electric vehicle. There are more and more customers coming forward. It has crossed the phase of early adopters now into early majority. Hopefully early majority will give enough customers in the market for electric vehicles. And with growing charging infra, earlier it was only Tata Power which had taken the responsibility to overcome this chicken and egg situation. We worked in a very synchronized fashion. Now you are seeing a lot of regional players coming with a park of nearly 1 lakh electric cars. So that chicken and egg situation has been resolved. You're also seeing oil, retail companies like BPCL and all also going very aggressive now on charging infra, which is good for the country. So charging infra, I would say, is the main issue, or the residual barrier which is left. And in the next 2 to 3 years, this should be overcome. So the growth in adoption will therefore take off, and we coming with a wider range of vehicle, we should be the beneficiary of this whole trend, having taken the lead, I would say.
And the new product you said in the financial year, so that would be like towards the later part of the
financial year. Yes.
Okay. Is there anything you can tell us about that new product in terms of the positioning or something?
It is a generation 2 product. If you have been following our stated approach of Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3.
Right.
Tiago EV was the last Gen 1 product, which is a pure conversion product. Gen 2 product is with modifications in the current ICE vehicle architecture to accommodate more battery, give higher range. That is the phase we are entering now. So it will be the first Gen 2 product, I would say, which hopefully we should launch this year. And the development is on for other Gen 2 products and Gen 3 also, which is a pure EV. So that's all what I can say at this stage.
And you already have petrol, diesel, CNG, electric. Yes. What's your view on hybrids and also ethanol that is coming up? the higher doping rate that has been proposed for it.
Ethanol is, there's a roadmap by the government and we will follow that, right? Including flex fuel, right? So we'll work towards that because that is being done with the right intention of what the country needs in terms of reducing the dependence of imports as far as fossil fuel is concerned. So that we'll work towards, and that will be a part of the ICE mix, right? On hybrid, we have taken a view that the role of hybrid in the industry is to substitute diesel. So if somebody has exited diesel, for them, hybrid replaces that, correct?
Right.
There is a regulation which is CAFE, Corporate Average Fuel Economy. So you need a certain profile of your fleet to deliver a certain gram per kilometer of CO2. So depending on what is the profile of your portfolio, you will be under pressure to meet that. Hybrid is a technology also which will help you deliver that, along with CNG and so on, electric, right? For us, electric is doing that very well. We would be the best manufacturer in terms of meeting CAFE, right? So we are sorted out as far as CAFE is concerned. We already have a diesel portfolio. The benefit of diesel is operating cost, correct? Punchy performance. Electric gives you better than that.
Yeah.
So if this technology is what is giving you all that you need, basis what you need as a mix of your portfolio to ensure that you are not losing on CAFE, you are not losing on potential demand which is going to come for different kind of fuel types or different kind of customer segments, I think there's no need we see immediately for hybrid, because we are in diesel, we are doing well in electric, the end state of the industry is electric, so why I should not put my full force and money behind electric? That's the thinking. So therefore right now there's no intense plan on hybrid for us.
And Mr. Chandra, a lot of our viewers, enthusiasts keep asking us, Tata Motors was a company that had some really great 4x4 vehicles. And a lot of people swear by that technology till date. But now increasingly, although you've brought back the Safari nameplate, but there is no 4x4. So what's your view on 4x4, especially in a time when your key rivals continue to invest in 4x4 and have products in the direct rival segments?
We follow and watch very closely the demand patterns, and we have seen the offtake of AWD even or 4x4 even when we had the 4x4s extremely low, right?
Okay.
You can realize the extent of investments that we have to make in this decade: connected car, ADAS, electric, so many regulations. So we have to judiciously evaluate where we prioritize our money to be put, right? As far as 4x4 is one attribute in an SUV, but there are many others which are more important, and we are very well serving that. As far as AWD is concerned or a 4x4 is concerned, we are very much going to bring in the electric. So in the new technology areas, we would start investing in bringing those kind of technologies. So we had showcased Harrier EV. In the Auto Expo, we will bring AWD there. And that would be the focus. So there's no 4x4 requirement that I see which makes me prioritize that at this stage. I know there's a value of investing there to create the halo impact of what it does to your SUV. But some difficult choices have to be made in the business. As of now, we have not thought of getting into 4x4 in ICE, but in EVs we will definitely bring that.
Okay. And so definitely now the next 4x4 or the AWD to look forward will be an electric one from Tata Motors.
Yes.
Right. So now beyond these products, if I talk about the supply chain, the supply chain in terms of semiconductors, it has been going in a topsy-turvy manner. What is the status right now, and what can we expect? Do you see things improving or probably settling in during this year?
Yeah. You know, there was a phase where even getting a 2 week visibility of, you know, certain parts because of the underlying problem of semiconductor was an issue. I think the industry, and at least I can say for us, we have adjusted to this situation very well
Okay.
through many structural actions also. One, that in general the supply has, you know, the stress or crisis has eased out a lot from a supply perspective, but also in terms of how we manage the semiconductor supplies in terms of planning, scheduling and all, has also adapted to that kind of a situation, giving 18-month kind of a schedule to the suppliers, more closer working and relationship with the semiconductor suppliers, which as an OEM we were not doing because we were mostly dealing with the tier 1 supplier. So there was no relationship with the semiconductor suppliers. So we have established that. We have also tried to understand, in situation of short supplies, where are the other places you can look for in the open market for those kind of semiconductors.
Right.
That has been established. We have also worked on, wherever possible, reducing the use of semiconductors in certain parts by optimizing it. So with all these set of actions, I see a great degree of comfort as compared to what we were dealing with, say, 1 year back or 1.5 years back.
Okay.
There are certain components where you see stresses cropping up even often, but then you work very closely with those suppliers. You try to have better agility to situation if it is deteriorating, but it is not that you are monitoring 100 of components, right? It is just left to some few components. So that's the situation.
Right. And like the trend is right now, it's mainly SUVs for most of the brands. So within Tata Motors right now, what is the uptake for the SUV body style?
For us, the portfolio of SUVs is roughly contributing to 66% of our sales. Yeah.
And you also launched ADAS with the Safari and the Harrier. So how has the response been for ADAS, and what is the uptake for ADAS? Do you see a scenario wherein you could be looking at bringing them down to lower models?
We'll just keep observing how the. I would say that in 7 seaters we have seen a more deeper penetration as compared to our 5 seater in SUV. I have to really see why that's the reason. So it might be just a varianting issue also. Um, but I think the response to ADAS has been good. But first, it is also a phase of creating awareness.
Right.
I think the focus will be to create awareness of ADAS also. Many people would not understand that. We need to expose them to this, and in this segment, people understand. So, of course, it will start with the highest segment where the customer is more knowledgeable, appreciates these technologies,
Correct.
and over a period of time, of course, you would like to bring it down to other segments also, because it's an active safety feature. Why you would not like to bring that? So that work also we would like to do. Yeah.
Brilliant. I think that answers all the questions for today, Mr. Chandra. It was great having this conversation with you. Thank you so
Nice
much for your
meeting you.
time.
Yeah.
And do join in to our review of the Altroz iCNG, which will be available. You can find the link also at the bottom of your screen. Thank you for joining us.